What is good, YouTube? Warstu here with a video on Avengers Doomsday. So in today's video, we are continuing our coverage on Doomsday. Now, the most insane, biggest rumor has just hit the internet, and it does make sense. Avengers Doomsday rumored to erase everything after Endgame. But what does that actually mean? It means the whole of Phase 4 and the whole of Phase 5. But we already know that Marvel is doing a soft reboot after Secret Wars. But this does make sense, kinda. So, if you are new around here, make sure you subscribe to never miss the content. It helps the channel. Like, subscribe, all the comments. Really helps us. Check us out on Instagram at Warstu to see the beautiful face behind the beautiful face. Check us out on TikTok. Warstu. I post over there every day. So let's break this down. So, a rumor hits the internet suggesting Marvel may be preparing to rewrite its own history with Avengers Doomsday and erase everything post Endgame, which has been a big failure from Kevin Feige. It's mostly been a failure. Not everything. If you look at the likes of Wakanda Forever, Doctor Strange 2, Thor, even though some of the movies weren't particularly liked, some of them did well. Deadpool and Wolverine, No Way Home. So I don't think it's going to get rid of everything. More like the projects like She-Hulk, Secret Invasion. Maybe them shows we erase. If this is true, this would include all the MCU shows, Disney Plus, such as She-Hulk, Hawkeye, Secret Invasion, Miss Marvel, which are confirmed to be big busts as majority of Marvel fans have not been interested. So this is kind of interesting. It really is. And Marvel has basically admitted their failures because during, what happened in the world, they decided to ramp up production on Disney Plus and went for crazy quantity over quality. Now, the article goes on to say, of course, this would also include erasing Feige's 2025 flops, such as The Fantastic Four and Thunderbolts, Captain America Brave New World. To add to that would be flicks like The Marvels, the MCU's lowest grossing movie of all time, starring Brie Larson, and a big bust like Quantumania. But the interesting thing is, they've already said The Fantastic Four is getting a sequel, so I do believe this rumor we're about to get onto is true, but it could actually be really made up. Feige's post-Endgame approach has been all about sending the message instead of telling a quality story. Obviously, it hasn't worked. So, the rumor. Now, I do research first, and also I already knew who this was. The information comes from YouTuber Doomcock. Okay, Doomcock. Okay, he has had stuff right, he's had stuff wrong before. So, just like when we go over Twitter scoopers who get more wrong than they do right, it could be right, it might not be right, but like I've said, you could make this up based off the information that's going around already. So when we get into the article a bit more, and it says this lines up with all the rumors coming out, yeah, but it could also be made up based on all the rumors coming out. And I'm the only kind of person online who would tell you that. I won't just run something and say, yeah, this is 100% confirmed, just because they've got a somewhat track record. So let's break down what it says. It's also worth saying it came from a YouTube video. I'm currently reading it from comicbook.news. So you can go over to Doomcock's YouTube channel to watch the original source. According to multiple sources, and sources not ours, the plan for Doomsday is the movie will pick up after Endgame. We already knew that. Making all the movies and shows after Endgame non-canon. It will pick up on the real Captain America and his desire to live a life with Peggy, writing a completely new future. We are still working to get more details about this. Info coming soon. If true, this would effectively erase the past several years of Marvel films. Disney Plus shows resetting the timeline to the point where Steve Rogers stayed in the past with Peggy Carter. Now, you could say, yeah, this lines up with all the rumors that the other scoopers have been saying, but you could also say this is made up based off what's going around. This info lines up with set images from the house that belongs to Steve Rogers from the 1960s with codename Luke Cage, Captain America as the crisis point. This rumor also lines up with another circulating X based on My Time to Shine Hello. You know how good their track record is, not so good. Posted that Captain America's decision to go back in time with Peggy is the spark that drives Avengers Doomsday. Now, that's going absolutely everywhere. It's worth saying the boy Geeky Cat, check him out on Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, YouTube, said the code name was actually for Steve Rogers before anybody else. If I understood correctly, Steve going back in time to be with Peggy created the incursions that killed Dr. Doom's family. Now Doom is hunting Steve to kill him for what he did, manipulating everyone in his past to achieve it. Yeah, My Time to Shine, you've kind of misinterpreted what is going on here. Although, yes, Steve will be very important. These scoopers, it's like almost like, to me, they don't understand the movies or they don't watch the movies. It's nothing to do with them not reading comics. You don't need to read the comics to understand what they're doing. But yeah, predominantly, it's not just to do with, you know, killing his family. It's a bit deeper than that. What could it mean? If Marvel does move forward with this storyline, it would both undo years of unpopular projects and put Captain America, Chris Evans, back at the center of it. It's also worth saying, I don't think they're going to erase everything. If this is true, let's talk about it hypothetically. They won't erase Wakanda Forever. They won't erase the events of Doctor Strange 2. They won't erase the events of Loki Season 1 and Loki Season 2, because if that's the point, then what is the point of the whole plot? You can't just erase what happened during Loki Season 1, Loki Season 2 about the sake of timeline, and No Way Home. They can't really erase that much. They can just get rid of stuff they didn't like if that's what they want to see. Recent images of Chris Evans shows he's jacked up. No, not really. Body composition, lads. He's not actually got any bigger. What happened is he's got rid of body fat, so he's got more lean muscle tissue on his body. So he looks bigger because he's leaner, there's less body fat. If you have less body fat on you and you've got a little bit of muscle, it makes you look bigger. So yes, I agree with the statement. He looks in Chris Evans' shape, but I wouldn't say he's jacked up. Linking Doom's motives directly to Steve Rogers would also raise the stakes for Robert Downey Jr.'s return as Dr. Doom, tie in Marvel's new direction back to the most popular characters of the Infinity Saga. Now, this is a problem, but it's also a good thing, because people care about Chris Evans, Steve Rogers, and they care about Robert Downey Jr. returning. So is it nostalgia bait? I hate to say it, the only reason Deadpool and Wolverine did so well was the nostalgia bait of it. It really was. What did it do? 1.3 billion. It was nostalgia bait. And it almost seems, by having this plot point, it does seem like nostalgia bait is going to be slipped into the DMs. But also at the same time, he was told not to do anything whilst he was away. So although a version of Captain America returned, the old man Captain America, and also we got to go back to the line in Endgame where Iron Man says, when you mess with time, it messes back with you. And I still think we are going to get Iron Man from Endgame timeline go forward to Secret Wars to save the day, then come back, and that whole, when you mess with time, it messes with you. I think that's a version of Tony Stark that went forward in time. We also know the following Secret Wars, the MCU will undergo some sort of reboot. So erasing everything post-Endgame that hasn't been a success does fit with the rumors. It's also known that going forward, the MCU shows and Disney Plus will have no connection to the movies. Not necessarily, just means that you don't have to watch all the movies in order to understand the TV shows, and you don't have to watch the TV shows to understand the movies, but you've never really have. But we've always known that in Doomsday, the multiverse is going to have some crazy event, and it's all going to crash. Every universe is going to crash, and then Doom will make this battle world. Then post-Secret Wars, there'll be this thing called Prime Earth, the new MCU, where the X-Men, the Fox, everything will merge into one timeline. So we've always known this. So whether this rumor is true, it's got to be somewhat true, but you can predict this based off everything we already know. So tying together this, they're going to erase everything with the whole Steve Rogers storyline, it's a very interesting theory, right? If Doomcock has heard this, cool, but you could have predicted they were going to do this anyway, because what's the point of a reboot if you're not going to erase stuff? But even if they are going to erase stuff in the canon, it still would have happened. It just wouldn't really matter anymore. Kind of like what James Gunn tried to do with his debacle of a reboot. It sounds like they're going to somewhat try to do something like that, and I really hope that isn't the case. But who knows? It's just a very interesting thing to talk about. It seems like this Steve Rogers going back in time is going to save the multiverse. I think more Chris Evans appearing is gonna save the movie, more like. But who knows, lads? Who knows if it's true or if it isn't true? So like always, guys, check us out on Instagram at Warstu. Check us out on Twitter, WarstuJ. And also check us out on TikTok, WWarstu. And I'll catch you in another video very soon. Catch ya later.